Well, one thing about cadaver balls, they're kind of squishy.
Okay, let's go ahead and take off the old air cleaner. I would say it's the ceremonial removal of the first part, but we're way beyond that. Oh. What's in the air cleaner? Let's see it. Rust. Oh, gross. Obviously. You're so loud! Have children, they said. It's a blessing, they said. Greatest times of your life, they said. I love my kids. Well, it's really kind of hoping because it's an Edelbrock Carter style carb that it was as bulletproof as history has shown me, and it still may be. Gonna look down on the Venturis. Oh yeah, there's grime. Carb's gonna have to come off before I do anything. I may even pull it apart. Check the float bowls. I mean, this thing is just devastating. We'll pull off the valve covers, see what it looks like under the rockers, run the numbers on the heads, see what we have there. I hope I don't have to remove that air compressor to get that valve cover off. I think I might be able to squeeze it out, especially if I take off the carb. It'll buy me a little extra room. Fun. That's why we're here. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Rescue-Maro video series, where we take a car that's been sitting out under a tree for somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 years and try to bring it back to life. In the last video, we dealt with the infestation of creatures that have been living in the car since it was parked sometime around the year 2000. Now we're going to go from ripping the interior entirely out of the car and pulling ants out of everything from the battery tray to the sound amplifiers that were mounted in the trunk. And we're going to try to start the mechanical repairs on this car. And as you can see, I'm doing my best to use tools in an inadequate fashion and breaking them in the process. But hey, who needs nice things, right? Well, come on, guys. Let's see if we can get this thing to run.
Oh, that's typical. That's typical.
I guess it'll turn out at some point. Gotta be here somewhere. Man, that's smart. Trying to beat a carburetor off that's not bolted down instead of lose my beating rod. Never seen the likes of something so fastened down for no reason. Try a couple of approaches here. Rubber mallet. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, well, the nitrous spacer is not wanting to separate. I really don't want to knock all these rat turds into the engine. Looks like we're going to have to kill a carb spacer.
What is that, a cartridge yet?
No, Edelbrock Performer Series. Oh my goodness, with the battery charge. There we have it. Carburetor removed. Take it apart. See what it looks like on the inside float bowls. Make sure it's not full of junk. And it was obviously covered in nest material. So at the very least, just clean it out. Well, that's nice and clean down in there. So there's some good news. What, baby?
I got it running.
You did. Wow, it runs. How about that?
Run!
One way to make it run.
Park this damn car right in my way.
Tegan!
This is heavier than it used to be.
Alright,
Have a shot
time to
collar
take this
tight
off.
there.
See see what we got. Ooh, look at that pretty stuff. Okay.
Got roller rockers.
Sure does. That's not cheap. But what are our heads? That is the question. Well, I've got a couple of numbers here to look up. NH or HN. Give me a moment. I'll let you know what we got. We got some ARP head stud bolts. Alright, so these are World Products Dart 2 heads. Got 1.5 comp cams rockers, some Moroso valve guides. Buddy. That's money. Let's see if we can't make this thing run. Still comparable to your F-150?
I can haul more fat women in mine than you can in this.
I can haul more balls than this.
You think?
Right, see?
Talking about ping pong balls or cadaver balls? Well, one thing about cadaver balls, they're kind of squishy, so you could pack more in there.
Okay, distracted once again. I hooked our jump box up to this. We're gonna see if we get any fuel spillage, because I'm kind of hoping that if I figure out how to turn these fuel pumps on, it'll just drain the tank for me. Sure saved me a lot of hassle. We got a little red light here. That's what I like to hear. What
got fuel.
Fuel for days? Already?
Yeah, I turned it on. Looks to be pretty clean. It ain't black like mine.
It actually looks pretty good. How about that? Like, how? That is real gasoline. I can tell you that. If we learned anything just now, they used real gasoline in this
Fuel
car.
in my tank over there looks like somebody mixed black gumbo clay and put in it.
We could actually knock out a few birds with one stone, see if we have any fire. Turn that off for
That's HEI ignition.
Yes, sir. So it ought to spark.
You want to watch what you stick in there.
Yeah. Fire in the hole! I gotta get the keys in the trunk. I got it. Here we go. Nothing. I got nothing. In park. Let's see. Oh. Maybe I should turn on my battery charger. Jackass!
Well, that's probably going to have to run for a few minutes.
Yeah. I don't know how much it'll spin it.
Well, it wants to.
Boy, it thought about it, didn't it? It clicked.
Let it charge for about 30 minutes.
Well, as it turns out, the battery is in fact stone dead. So in order to save some time, let's build a carburetor. Okay, so I had to tear the gasket apart to get into the car. It was caught on the floats, unfortunately, but as you can see, it's full of crud, so it needs to be gone through anyway. So I went ahead and ran to O'Reilly's, got a carb kit, some Berrymans. Let's go. accelerator pump, which is where it is supposed to be in spec, which is 17/32 at the top from the deck, which is right there. That gets me pretty well ready to install. Screws. Okay, idle mixture screws, turn them all the way in, turn them out as complete turn plus a half. Got my accelerator pump to spec. Metering rods were a little bit bent. I straightened them up best I could. They're probably going to have to be replaced, and one of the springs on one of them is extended in one spot, so they're just not going to be perfect, but they'll work enough to get the car running. That's down the road. That's not the worst thing ever. Otherwise, I think that I'm good to go. Well, here I am with all the power components that I've robbed off the other Camaro. Thinking of my younger self and how brilliant I am, today, much less then, I'm looking at the wiring diagram for this Maori Hi-Fire Ignition coil box. And there's no way I had this wired up properly. I remember being pretty impressed with myself that I was able to figure it out. The car ran, so don't ask me, what I did or how I did it. But I do remember that the car ran. I had this hooked up, and it's got a plug for the distributor that I had in it. So one way or another, it was working. But for the time being, I guess what I will do is ignore my box. I'm going to have to run some new wires and get some proper connectors in order to install it properly. And I can just stick this one, which frankly, I didn't even know that it would work because these wires are so corroded. So this is all corroded. So what I can do is use the other distributor that came out of the car, pop this cap off, replace this wiring harness, install this distributor with the super coil. That's going to be enough to fire the car. For the ease of time and installation. Raylan, is that you? Pooping yourself? Alright. Get the hood open, let's get this going. Let's make a run.